Right, so hello viewers, we are live for the first time. We're here at Hockenheimring in Germany for round 3 of SWE League Season 2. We're set up for a good race today, I think. Only 11 drivers running. That doesn't take away from the fact that we are still at Hockenheim, notoriously difficult. Track limits, tough corners, long straights, tricky tyre strategies. Yeah, there's a lot can happen in the next 45 minutes to an hour. So I'll get the leaderboard set up. Yes, like I said, 11 drivers. Some new guys in the league tonight. Venturious Risk, the Danish driver, he's in here for the first time. Looking at the stand-ins. As for the stand-ins, Montana, Swiss driver, he sits in first place currently with 50 points, however tied with the Ferrari driver, Veal, also on 50 points behind him. SWE, today's driving the Mercedes, on 36 points. He is also tied with Milito. Milito drives a McLaren car today. So top 4 drivers tied in 2 pairs on 50 points and 36 points. So today's results can have a dramatic effect on championship stand-ins. Currently on board with Max Wheatley as he performs his first hot lap in qualifying here. Hitting the curbs nicely. Like I said earlier, tricky track this. Track limits are commonly catching drivers out. Obviously you want to push as hard as you can, but there comes a risk against reward. As Brock, the Canadian driver in the Williams, puts in a 1:14.3, and Max Wheatley betters that with 1:12.9, but obviously the times will improve as the session goes on. Track gets hotter, tyres get hotter. Track evolution always has an impact in qualifying and in the race. Like I said, quite a tricky tyre strategy. As Montana goes fastest again early in Q1, so like I said, the leaderboard will be chopping and changing as the session continues. Ferrari driver Veal, Swedish, sits in second place in stand-ins currently. Like I said, tied with Montana in the Mercedes. Into the pits he goes. Obviously most drivers will complete qualifying on the ultra softs. You can see Montana up the top there is on softs. Like I said, it's just preference with the strategy, so different drivers will be on different tyre setups for the race. That will obviously have an effect on qualifying results and the race results. Obviously the faster tyre you're on, the less laps you can be on the tyre for. Pit lane pretty empty, as is the track, to be honest. Only 11 drivers, so a lot of space to be taken up. Second Ferrari driver into the pits. Obviously early on in qualifying, drivers need to get a feel for the car, feel for the track, warm up the fingers, which also has an impact on the lap times improving. On board with Carlson now. Also a Swedish driver. Into the pits he goes. Currently sitting on a 12.5, 8 tenths behind the pole sitter. and on slower tyres, so we'll see what comes of him later on in the session. Max Wheatley out the pits for the second time on the medium compounded tyres. Also on the mediums, Benito into the Mobile 1 curve, going through there at 205 km an hour, braking into Sachs, just over 100 km an hour through there. Tricky setup this corner, you can see he gets that a little bit wrong there, goes a little bit wide on the exit. That gives him a little bit of oversteer onto the pit straight. First corner, just arguably the most tricky corner on the track. Very easy to track extend on the inside and also on the exit. As well as grip, downforce is pretty limited through there, so there's a risk for reward through there. Into the hairpin, dropping down into second gear, sometimes first gear. Probably in qualifying better to go into first gear, but as tyre wear becomes a factor in the race, second gear is probably more preferable. Down into turn number 8, through turn 9, it sends you into turn 12. Yeah, turn 12, Mobile 1 curve. Tricky part of the track this, sector 3. Easy to oversteer, as he does there a little bit. Sets up the curb right, little tap on the throttle. Then it's just flat out through there pretty much. Onto the pit straight, he sets a 12.9, obviously on the medium slower tyre of compounded tyre. So he currently sits 5th in qualifying. Further up grid, we've got Risk getting a little wobble of little speed wobble there. So I believe that was Max Wheatley. He was overtaken there as he went into the Mobile 1 curve, so he'll have to set up his next lap. I don't know if that was a result of the traffic or just a little wobble he had on his own fault there, but that lap is out the window for him. Montana now in the Williams. Hits the curb nicely. Doesn't go too wide on the exit of that corner. There's a common occurrence there. Drivers get a little bit too generous on the throttle, end up costing them time through the Mobile 1 curve. Goes a little bit wide through there. Doesn't seem to lose him too much time. Obviously on the ultra soft tyre. Into Sud curve, 169 km an hour through there. Last corner of the track, across the line, betters his time by about 1.2 seconds, so he sits comfortably at the top of the leaderboard as of now. Behind him, Mercedes driver, 1.6 seconds. No, sorry, 1.1 seconds between the British Mercedes driver and the pole setter. Obviously his best lap, as you can see at the top left corner of your screen there, is on the soft compound of tyre, so an improvement of lap time is foreseeable for this driver. On his out lap just now, some traffic ahead as well. Be interesting to see if back markers become an issue in the race. Also, the Hockenheim is a fairly short track, about 2.8 miles in length, so back markers can definitely become an issue for some of the lead runners of the pack. It just depends on the lap times they're setting. Anyway, White comes out at the last corner. Start his flying lap, we'll ride on board with him. I think that might have been an invalidated lap time there on the inside. Cutting the, yeah, he's backing off. It's like I previously said, that first corner is very easy to be caught out. Very easy to be caught out through there. As you can see, obviously got the better of White. Even on the ultra soft compounded tyre, almost brand new as well. Definitely is not an easy corner. Obviously, in qualifying they're pushing a lot harder than what they would be in the race, but nonetheless, definitely can't blame them for losing that lap. Regardless though, here comes into turn 12. Over one curve, 205 kilometers an hour. Braking down into turn 13, quite a tricky one that. It's on a little bit of an angle, so it's easy to get some oversteer on the exit. But he'll come into the pits at the end of this lap anyway, put on a fresh set of tyres, and he'll be out on the track in a few minutes for another go. Back on board with Carlson, like I said. New driver, I believe. He is on a hot lap right now. Currently sits 2 seconds ahead, 2 seconds behind, sorry, of the pole sitter Montana there. 6.5 minutes of qualifying to go. Out the last corner, open the DRS, up to 7th gear. There you go, you can see also goes wide on that first corner and immediately backs out the lap time, so you can see the first corner, the Nord curve, keeps on catching out the drivers. Toro Rosso driver comes out the Sud curve, across the line, he goes second place on the grid, 1/10 in front of the Mercedes there, on the faster tyre, but nonetheless gets that Toro Rosso on the front grid, on the front line, sorry, front row of the grid for now. 5.5 minutes left of qualifying. Look to the back of the grid, pretty much everyone is in the pits until you get to Max Wheatley. Just trying to get those lap times in. Like I said, qualifying is also a good opportunity for all the drivers to get used to the car, used to the setup, the track, the tyres, everything. It's more of a warm-up, to be honest, than actual qualifying, but nonetheless, drivers are all still pushing the hardest to get the best lap times in. A little bit wide on the exit of that penultimate corner. Also on the final corner goes too wide, and that lap is ruined. Unluckily to have that in the last corner, because obviously that messes up the start of the next lap as well, so you have to come to the pits end of this lap and get set up for the final run in qualifying. Zigabussin, Brock, Kel, Mill and Veal all in the pits right now. Toro Rosso comes into the pits. Right on board with the Swedish Ferrari driver for this one. Veal currently sits at the bottom of the standings, but obviously hasn't actually sat a lap time yet. Same with Mill and Kel, Force India and Toro Rosso drivers. Assuming they all got caught out with some track limits or had a spin, they've been unable to set a lap time as of yet. But there's no doubt in my mind that Veal will be able to get that Ferrari considerably high up the grid. Ride on board with him for his final run in qualifying. 3 minutes left, so if he messes this lap up, there is still an opportunity to salvage it. Into turn 1, a little bit cautious through there, does it nicely though, doesn't track extend on the exit or the inside curbs, sorry. Braking just before the 100 metre board, down into 3rd gear, then into the Parabolica straight, right up to about 325 kilometers an hour here, obviously right up to 8th gear as well. Hard on the brakes, just in between the 100 and 150 metre board, down into 1st gear before a short shift up in 2nd, accelerates him down into turn 7, then obviously into turn 8 after this, just before the 100 metre board down into 2nd gear, don't go too wide on there. Same with this corner, don't run too wide or you will lose time. Into the mobile curve, turn 12, pretty tricky that. turn 13, sacks at an angle like I said earlier. Takes it nicely though, doesn't track extend on the inside or the outside. Sets up the last corner beautifully. On the throttle as early as possible, up in 7th gear, DRS open. Only 4th place. 1 minute 12 seconds flat. Still has 1.5 seconds to find, but obviously it is on the softer tyre, so a fair lap time put in by Veal. Yeah, he definitely won't be complaining with that one, but Montana still sits up the top in that Williams. He's coming across the line, goes 2/10s faster, so 1 minute 10.3 for the pole sitter at the moment. White comes into the pits for the final time in the qualifying session. He won't get another run, so the best result he can hope for in qualifying is still the front row. Definitely not a bad result, but Montana still sits strong with that 10.3 lap time. Veal on his out lap. Max as well comes across the line, starts his tricky through there, touched the gravel on the left hand side, done well to keep control of the car. Obviously would have lost him a little bit of time, but anyway, takes turn 2 nicely, turn 3, a little kink in the steering wheel and he's through. Down the parabolic straight, like I said previously, 326 kilometers an hour. Hard on the brakes, into the hairpin, turn 6, 1st gear, 2nd, 3rd, 4th. Through turn 7 he goes, hard on the brakes at the 100 metre board. 3rd gear, takes it nicely. Easy to corner cut the inside curb there as well. Mobile 1 curve. A little bit wide through there, that might have invalidated his lap time. Doesn't seem to be backing out with it though. 15 seconds left in the session. Oh, a little bit wide through the penultimate corner. I don't think that would have mattered too much, but anyway, across the line he goes, does improve. It's at 1.111.9. So I believe that puts him in 5th place. 4th place for Max in the Red Bull, but nonetheless also on the soft compounded tyre. So pole sitter Montana, yeah, pretty impressive lap time with a 10.3, 3/10s behind him, also on the soft compounded tyre, the Mercedes driver, White. And you've got Risk, 3rd place, 1 minute 11.5, a whole 1.1 seconds behind of Montana, so he's going to have some work to do to improve that position in the race. And then after him you've got soft compound tyres, Veal and Max. Like I previously said, the tyre strategy will obviously have an effect on the race. Yeah, so can the drivers keep it clean into turn 1? Not only is it difficult by yourself in qualifying, but cramming 11 cars down there is probably going to be a little bit messy. Distance from the grid to turn 1, 310 metres, so it's quite a short run. Probably won't be much overtaking going on, but nonetheless is definitely still open to accidents and definitely some movements on the grid. So yeah, good race setup here. Obviously you've got the traditional formation lap before the race. Drivers get one last chance to feel out the track, feel out the car, tyres, fingers. Everything just gets one last preparation before the race. Right on board with Montana for out the lap. Time lost to the pit lane, 11 seconds plus pit stop, so you're looking at about 13-second pit stop, quite a short one. I'll be honest with you, I'm not really sure what tyre strategy is the best. To go aggressive with the ultra soft, or to be a little bit more passive with the slower soft compound, but only time will tell. Cars here use about 1.5 kilograms of fuel every lap, so definitely not a lot. You can probably get away with running rich fuel mix for quite a bit of the race. Definitely compared to somewhere like Baku, where the fuel consumption is ridiculous. "67 laps in the 100% race, so that'll get put down to about 34 laps. Should be about 45 minutes to an hour race, but anyway, Montana leads the pack down into the grid for the start of round 4 in Germany, Hockenheim. Hopefully all the drivers have made a good effort to warm up those tyres. For the first couple laps, I'll just follow the top 3 or 4 drivers, because obviously only one camera angle, so it's a bit tricky to follow all the drivers at the same time and commentate. So nonetheless, here we go, 5 red lights. A little bit of a lag on my screen to theirs, but anyway, away we go. White's going to get the inside line of Montana into turn 1. He's going to let him go a little bit as Montana track extends on the exit. Nonetheless, he keeps first place. Toro Rosso and Red Bull side by side into turn 2. Looks like Max is going to take the podium position. Toro Rosso on the inside, looks like he's going to keep it. They'll go down the Parabolica straight. A little bit of slipstream, obviously no DRS on the first lap. Some lagging going on as well, but side by side into the hairpin. Down into first gear. Holding the outside line. Oh, brilliant move to keep that third place there. No position changes so far as they head into turn number 8. Easy to lose the back end through there. Max is on a slower composite tyre, but behind him, Milito and the McLaren. Definitely wouldn't count him out at this point. All the drivers got a little bit of space between them now. Veal in 6th place, followed by his teammate Zagabusen. In 7th place, Carlson in 8th. 1 second behind him, we've got Brock, Canadian driver, in the Williams. And behind him, Mill. He's had a pit, so I'm assuming him and Kell must have had a little tangle in the first lap. But anyway, Montana leads the pack. 1.2 second gap to 2nd place there. So he currently sits comfortably in 1st place. Behind him, White, Mercedes driver, currently sits 3rd in standings with 36 points, tied with Milito. You can see the drivers aren't quite pushed as much as they were in qualifying, especially Risk through there. Being a little bit cautious on the turn-in, the throttle movements, just making sure not to make any big mistakes, because if you go off the track in Hockenheim, you're going to be taking a trip. You're not going to get back on the track for another possibly 3-5 seconds, so it's a big penalty for extending the track. You can see on the track limits there really is not a lot of curbs, so if you go over those curbs either onto the grass or the astroturf, the gravel, whatever it is, and that just sucks you in. So see it again, Risk for reward here at Hockenheim. Into the hairpin in the first gear, get the car turn in to that curb on the side, get a good exit. down into turn 7, 285 kilometers an hour, into turn 8. The braking points obviously get further away from the corner as tyre wear starts to affect the performance of the car. 1.8 seconds behind him, Max Wheatley with a nice internet connection there on the soft compounded tyres, so to see him dropping back from the top 3 is to be expected over the next 2 or 3 laps. The last corner, starting lap 5. No, lap 4, sorry, lap 4. Melito going to go for a move up the inside into turn 2. Going to go for the cut back is Max. He's going to get a better exit by the looks of it into the parabolic straight. DRS is now activated. So he's going to get a much better run into the hairpin. They go. With the inside line, Max should easily take this position. Up the inside comes Veal. He's snuck in to 5th place on the inside line of Melito. Out of absolutely nowhere, Veal takes 5th place as they head into turn 8, covers the inside line a little bit. Absolutely no way is he going to let Melito get past him without a fight. Into the Mobile 1 curve. 3 drivers crammed into a little space. Keep it tidy, obviously all in the same compound of tyre. So racing is pretty fair. But nonetheless, tyre wear can still be a little bit different from each driver. But anyway, on to lap 5 we go. Max Wheatley. Montana, the race leader, he's into the pits. From ultra softs onto the soft compounded tyre. On lap 5. That puts him all the way down into 7th place. But obviously, fresh with the tyres, he'll be able to put in some fast lap times with the clean air ahead of him. We'll see where he comes out of the pits in a few laps time. In the meantime, Veal goes up the inside of Max Wheatley into the hairpin. Not much of a fight put up by the Red Bull driver there. Pretty standard move for Veal as he puts that Ferrari on a provisional podium position. But don't forget about Montana at the back. Obviously, pretty much still in provisional 1st place, so he'll come back up the pack as the drivers start to make their pit stops. Further down the pack, Mill and Kell are both out. Brock currently sits in last place at 9th in the Williams. 3.6 seconds to 8th place, Carlson. But after that, there's almost a 15-second gap to 7th place. So whether these guys have had a little accident or they're just not on the pace, it's sure to be quite an uneventful race for them, which is a shame really, because 11 drivers you would hope to see you know, really kind of close one-to-one battles, but these guys have also been caught out. SWE, he's came into the pits, put on the medium compounded tyre, so 2 drivers on different strategies here. Currently sits 6.2 seconds behind the provisional race leader, Montana in the Williams. So 1st place as of now, Risk in the Toro Rosso seems to be keeping up a pretty consistent pace. You can see there, just taking the apexes nice and easily, not giving too much to Risk, but he does clip the white line as he headed into the Sachs curve there. Starts to lose the back end as well. He needs to go into the pits, in which he does. At the end of lap 6, Toro Rosso pits. Do not speed when you go into the pits. Obviously we all know that's a pretty hefty penalty if that car goes even 1 km an hour above the speed limit. But anyway, in about 2.5 seconds, ultra softs are off and softs are on. So he comes out the pits and 7th place. White just takes that there. You can see not much of a gap at all. Toro Rosso driver on the softer compounded tyre. Rest is available to him as well, so a race is in our hands in the next couple laps here I think. Far up the pack, Busen starts to follow Max in the Red Bull. Race leader currently Veal started pretty much at the back of the pack, so he's made a good comeback, but obviously pit stops are still a factor in this race. Down the pit straight starts lap 8 of round 4. Here Hockenheim goes a little bit wide on the exit of turn 1 there. I think that might have given him a warning at least. At the end of the race, I won't be surprised to see if some of the drivers have up to 9-second penalties, maybe even 12-second penalties. Because like I said, the track limits at Hockenheim, not only are they strict, but the track is just so narrow, so yeah, definitely not hard to start track extending. Max Wheatley still driving consistent on the soft compounded tyre. Lap 8 of the race, he stands in 2nd place, just below a second behind Veal, so DRS just available to him. But he's going to have to catch up a little bit before the slipstream becomes to any advantage. 2 positions behind Veal was his teammate Bezig. Out of the Sachs curve, turn 16, takes it nice, beautiful there. Lets off the throttle just to set up the car for the exit onto the pit straight, and it's just full throttle out of there, and you just got to kind of hold your nerve and hope that the car doesn't understeer off into the gravel, because like I said earlier, it's a big penalty you're going to have to pay if it does do that. Just 0.5 seconds off the 2nd place now, DRS obviously activated, but Slipstream won't really be there for, so he's going to have to set in 3rd place for now. Also with DRS just behind them, Alito and McLaren. He's tied for 3rd place with White right now. He currently runs in 6th place, but obviously with the pit stops is currently running ahead of the McLaren driver. So looks like there'll be some changes to the championship standings to the top 4 drivers tonight anyway. Toro Rosso driver currently sits behind White. Less than half a second separates them as he come into sector 3. Goes a little bit wide in the Mobile 1 curve. Loses about 2 or 3 tenths there, but still an effective range with the slipstream and DRS. Hopefully on the parabolic or straight on into the hairpin we'll see some racing on this lap. We'll stay on board with them for now. Turn 1 taken nicely. The car accelerate down to turn 2, get up to about 310 kilometers an hour there, so yeah, definitely shows the legs that these cars have. DRS is open now, should be a pretty easy move. Toro Rosso driver up the inside, pretty bog standard move, inside line, take the turn early. Looks like White is going to look for the cutback, but it's not quite going to be there as Risk gets the foot down as they come out of turn 6 down into turn 8. 3rd gear, clip the curb on the inside, get a nice run. On is the Mobile 1 curve, up to 205 kilometers an hour. 6th gear, clip the curb on the inside, clip the curb on the outside. Don't go too wide on the what's the word? The words just went out of my head. On the entrance, that's the one. On the entrance to the Sachs curve anyway, takes it nicely and completes lap 11, or lap 10 sorry, goes into lap 11 now. Takes turn 1 nicely, he's going to have a run here maybe. Just sits behind the Toro Rosso driver for now. So we'll look for a good exit onto the Parabolica straight, sorry. Also we'll have DRS now. We've got some movement further up the pack. Busen's looking to make some advancements. And Max Wheatley. Max is on the softer compounded tyre, so on that basis should be able to hold them back, but eventually those tyres are just going to have to give in, and grip will become an issue for Max. Into the penultimate corner, a little bit wide there from Busen. Max is going to go wide on the exit as well. Might have been a warning for him. It's giving him a little weave. Up ahead, Veal, you can see at the bottom of your screen there, gets a 3-second time penalty, I'm assuming for track extended on the first corner. Onto the parabolic curve now. Max's car is jumping all about the place. A little bit of a risky move for Busen because it's just fate really. When a car is jumping about like that, you can't have any control if it hits you or not, but Max lets him through without a fight. And Ferrari boys now 1-2 at the top of the pack for round 4. Like I said earlier, do not count out Montana. Only sits about 3 seconds behind the race leader now, so once these guys pit, there's going to be about a 10-second lead for Montana comfortably. Should be able to take the race win with that strategy. Max in his place, he's down by the Williams driver. Into the last corner they go of lap 12. You can see there Montana just, the tyres are a lot fresher, he's able to hit the curbs more consistently. Goes a little bit wide on the exit there, but oh, Max getting a little bit aggressive on the throttle by the looks of it. Has a little speed wobble. Looks up the inside of Montana, but wise to it. The Williams driver gives him a little bit of space, but definitely not enough to get the move done, so he hangs on to that podium position as of now. Into the Parabolica hairpin. Into first gear. Max is looking for a good exit, but he's hit the curb, and all hopes of getting that position back are gone. Further down the grid, White just behind the Toro Rosso driver, Risk. Driver from Denmark. He's a new driver to this league, making his first appearance here at round 4. Doing it good so. Stands in 5th place as of now. Mobile 1 curve. Doesn't seem to be too tricky for the drivers today. It could become a factor later on as the drivers might start to become a little more lax about their driving style. Definitely is not an uncommon thing to see somebody in the gravel at the exit of the Mobile 1 curve. But anyway, Veal comes out the pits for the first time. Puts that Ferrari in 5th place for now. Further up the grid, Montana is taking 1st place from Busen. His tyres are 4 laps fresher than the Ferrari driver, so couldn't have been a very difficult move. But anyway, he takes 1st place back on lap 14. Mercedes and Toro Rosso drivers battling for 3rd place at podium position. This is 4th position now. Oh no, it's not, sorry. Busen's still to make his pit stop, so this is actually effectively a battle for 2nd place. So both these drivers provisionally on the podium, but that can definitely change in the next couple of laps. Into the last corner, taken nicely by both drivers there, as the gap between them stays at about half a second. You can see though from qualifying, the drivers seem to be a lot more comfortable taking that first corner. They've gotten the feel for how much throttle, how much turning, when to brake, when to let off, things like that. So consistency throughout the track is going to improve. But Risk could have went up the inside there, but thinks better of it as they head into the hairpin for the 15th time, almost halfway through the race. But yeah, these drivers pretty much on the same level right now, as the gap still sits at about half a second, even though White is on the harder compounded tyre and will be a little bit more worn than the Toro Rossos. Nonetheless, Tiago Montana leads the race, but gains himself a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. Like I said previously, time penalties are not going to be a rare thing this race. Anyway, like I said, he leads the race, lap 16 into the hairpin, down into first gear, gets the car turned in, and then a short shift up to second, just so the rear wheels don't spin too fast. Gives him a little kick of oversteer on the exit. Second gear helps to control that oversteer, and obviously it gets him a little bit of a better exit out there. So he sits 2.5 seconds ahead of second place, but that second place is still to make a pit stop. So comfortably in the lead is the Williams driver for now. Further back, Risk and White still going at it. That gap is down now to about 4/10. Goes a little bit wide there, but that gains him a good exit into the Sachs curve. Wouldn't dare to touch the inside curb, because it just sends your car into a spin. Final corner of the lap, DRS is open. The gap still sits at half a second. A little bit of a track extension there on the exit. Anyway, takes a wide line into turn 2, obviously looking for a good exit out there. Looks like he's got it, I think. DRS and Slipstream will be there to help him, give him a little nudge up the back, and yeah, that's an easy move. Not much the Williams driver, no sorry, Mercedes driver can do, but provisional second place is taken by Risk, lap 17. 1.5 seconds behind them, Veal stalks them in that Ferrari. Also would not count him out of this race as of yet. You can see the consistency is well above par, hitting all the curbs. Even later on in the race, he is on fresh tyres, but nonetheless, you can see just so smooth on the wheel to first gear. You see, there's not really any sudden movements. It's comfortable to push the car right onto those white lines. Finds himself in 5th place on lap 18 here at Hockenheim. You can see ahead of him though, White and Risk still continue to battle for 3rd and 4th place. Into turn 8. Mobile 1 curve, take the widest entrance as possible. Obviously gives him a good run into the Sachs curve. You see camera angles like these, might as well be Lewis Hamilton behind the wheel from those angles. Carlson, he's out. Don't know why, don't know how, don't know when. Carlson DNFs Hockenheim. Actually failed to notice that. I don't know when that happened, but nonetheless, the Sauber driver is back to the garage for this one. Brock still runs in last place, but that's been boosted up to 8th. Melito in the pits. 6 laps on the ultra soft. Shouldn't be too bad, should be at about, I'm guessing about 50%. Soft tyres go on. Anyway, further up the pack, Veal, Risk and White find themselves within touching distance, all fighting for that second place as Busen has pitted finally onto the soft compound tyres on lap 20. Risk dives into the pits, 12 laps on the soft compound tyres, and he is in. We'll see what tyre he goes on to. It should probably be the mediums to take him on to the rest of the race, but soft compound tyres go on. That should be enough to get him to the end, I think. He comes back out in 6th place, but that should improve as the race goes on. Other drivers make their pit stop, so we'll see what comes of that later on in the race. So Veal and White, Mercedes driver, 14 laps on the medium tyre. However, the Ferrari is on much fresher tyres, 8 laps difference. Into the Mobile 1 curve, once again just highlighting the consistency of the Ferrari car there. Every curve, every curb, every white line. Beautiful. Montana, oh, he's into the pits. Montana puts on a fresh set of softs. Also will take him to the end of the race, but he keeps first place after that pit stop. So you can just see the kind of gap he actually had. Makes a pit stop and still keeps a fairly comfortable gap to second place with a 1.7 margin between them. Veal with slipstream and DRS, he's going to go for a dive into the hairpin. Pretty bog standard, but White is not going to give up without a fight, I don't think. He is right up the gearbox of the Ferrari, into turn 8, down into 3rd gear, locks up the front tyre a little bit, loses him a bit of time I think. A little touch on the grass, and that sends them down into the Mobile 1 curve, up into 7th gear, touch down into 6th. Just let off the throttle through there. That takes me down to the Sachs curve. Swings the car around through there. Turns 16 and 17. Pretty mechanical now for the drivers. Taking that corner tonight already about 25, 27 times, so starts to become pretty automatic after a while, but nonetheless you still have to be laser focused into the brake points, turning points, what you're doing with the throttle, things like that. DRS is activated for White. You can see at the top left the time just comes crashing down. 3 tenths, 2 tenths, 1 tenth. The wheel goes a little bit wide today, he's going to have a little look up the inside, but thinks better of it, just doesn't want to have any contact, especially wheel to wheel. That is going to ruin someone's race. Lurking in the background though, the other Ferrari driver. We've got a little championship sandwich here. Ferrari, Mercedes, Ferrari. Lap 22, drivers are still going strong. Mercedes driver has significantly more tyre wear than the cars around him. 16 laps he's done, 17 laps now on those medium tyres. You can see up the graphic on the top left, the compounded tyre, how many laps have done, the gap, position, things like that. It's all up the top left of your screen. Parabolica curve for the 23rd time in the race. DRS on White and Busigabussin. Looks like Vio's going to get swallowed up here as they go 3 abreast into the hairpin. Busigabussin with inside line, goes a little bit on the grass, loses a bit of speed. He comes out at last of the 3 of them, but White moves up into that second place. Vio goes defensive into turn 8, snaps back onto the racing line, and he holds 3rd place, but nonetheless loses a place to the Mercedes driver, who will presumably be making a pit stop in the next couple laps. Into the Sachs curve, a little bit oversteer for Busigabussin. On to lap 24 they go. Less than 1 second separates all these 3 drivers here. So like last lap, will we see the front driver just getting swallowed up from the effects of the DRS and slipstream? We'll see the 2 Ferrari boys hunting in a pack. DRS is open up to 8th gear. We'll ride on board with Vio into the hairpin. Bog standard move again, up and inside. Takes 2nd place for now. White must be starting to struggle on those tyres as they all head down into turn 8. The grandstand corner, the only corner on the track other than the pit straight with a grandstand actually. No, I'm lying. Yeah, there's grandstands there, don't listen to me. Anyway, Vio, White, Busigabussin still going at it here. White decides to stay out of the pits for this lap. Have absolutely no clue what kind of condition those medium tyres are in, but I can tell you it's not going to be as good as the two Ferraris. Into turn 2 they go. Looks like Busigabussin's going to get a better exit onto the Parabolica straight. DRS for both the drivers, and as he pulls out he loses that slipstream. White's going to have the inside line, going to go defensive, squeezes Busigabussin right out onto the curbs. Brock is letting them pass, there you go. Good sportsmanship from the Williams drivers there. From the Williams driver, I should say. Turn 8 they go. Touch on the grass. Get a good line to there. Busigabussin a little bit too wide. Mobile 1 curve. Oh. Pushing all the way to the limit. White gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. On to lap 26 then. You can see the consistency of all these drivers are pretty much on the same level. Any mistake, a little bit oversteer, you can see there Busigabussin gets a little bit too passive on the throttle, and he says goodbye to about 3/10 of time, which really is not a lot, but can make all the difference, especially in situations like these where you've got 3 cars battling for podium positions. DRS is activated on White's car as well as Busig's. Inside line for White, takes 2nd place off the Ferrari driver for now, pushes him out onto the grass, and that allows Busig to take that spot. Vio, he's not going to go down without a fight though. A little bit passive on the move there, but unfortunately for him, he drops down off the podium into 4th place. But surely the Mercedes driver will have to make a pit stop. Presumably this lap, 20 laps on the medium tyre. I'm not really sure how far you could probably stretch them, but I imagine it's not going to be much further. Into turn 2 they go. Hard on the brakes, and see the smoke coming off the front wheels of the Mercedes driver, or the Mercedes car, so I could say. Oh, car goes right over the camera there, beautiful. As they head down into the hairpin, White's just going to move over. A little bit of lag there. But he's going to get a good exit onto the... Oh, no, maybe not. To turn 8, he definitely has a decent run here. A move is an opportunity. Looks like he's going to go for the inside. Thinks better of it. Tucks back in to the slipstream of that Ferrari, but yeah, the racing is really tight. To be expected from the top couple drivers, but you can see, I don't know if that was a bit of lag there, or if he's just had a little wobble and went wide. But 21 laps on medium tyres, that sort of thing is going to be expected, but he stays out for now. I can't see him staying on these tyres for very much longer, if I'm honest. Lap 28 now, still seems to be hitting all the apexes, takes turn 1 nicely. These 3 cars seem to be spreading out also. Maybe that's just tyres coming into effect, track evolution, but yeah, a little bit of a gap between them now. Nonetheless, White and Veal both with DRS. So racing is still in the air. Lap 28 into turn 8 they go. Briefly looking towards the front runner. Montana still staying strong. You can see while the racing's going on, this guy's just been beasting those tyres, beasting the track, and sits in a more than comfortable lead of 11 seconds right now. Onto lap 29 he goes, playing with the fuel mixture, playing with the brake bias to get the optimal out of the car per each corner. Puts the car presumably up into rich mode just for now. Uses some of the battery. Puts the battery right down then for the hairpin. Not really much need for a boost as you're on the brakes, so yeah, just really trying to save as much energy, as much fuel, as much just of the car. You can see on the bottom right there that on the telemetry, the battery being used is just constantly changing for what corners are coming up. Obviously a wheel driver as well, the wheel movements are very smooth. Not really any big movements. Obviously jerking the wheel is going to end up with spinning, loss of control, and eventually just a loss of time. So again, nailing the apex into turn 1, and I can't see him coming down from that lead position anytime soon. Further back, his teammate Brock, still rolling in 8th place. You've seen a few laps earlier, he gave way to some of the front runners, so still playing the game fair, hard and fair. Melito currently sitting in 4th place, I believe, in the standings, but he finds himself in 7th place, so dropping down the championship standings tonight, I believe. Ahead of him, Toro Rosso driver Risk heads into the hairpin for the 30th time this race. Up the gears they go. Gears go up as the battery comes down into turn 8, 3rd gear, takes it nicely. A little switch of the wheel, left to right. Mobile 1 curve now, a little bit wide onto the inside apex, but can't see him losing much time from that. But anyway, he finds himself in 6th place just now. Max in 5th place, lots of free track ahead of him. 7.5 seconds between him and White in 4th place. These guys still racing for that podium position. 25 laps now on those medium tyres. Like I said, I'm really not sure what is considered a lot of laps, but a little bit of contact there. White definitely lost a bit of his front wing. He takes 3rd place from Veal. As of now, Veal's going to look for the inside line into turn 8. Should be able to get that position. White's going to hold the inside line. Oh, there's contact! Veal's been spun round. On the apex of turn 7, you've had a little bit of tyre-to-tyre contact, and much like Sebastian Vettel in real life, the Ferrari driver's been spun round, finds himself almost 6 seconds behind the Mercedes driver, but there's definitely a bit of contact between them at the hairpin, and White has undoubtedly lost a bit of his front wing. How much he's lost I'm not sure, but the lap times will surely start to fall off. But Veal really kind of unlucky victim there. Might have closed the door a little bit too much, but yeah. Behind him now is Max. Parabolical curve, parabolical straight, sorry. Down into 1st gear again. Whoa, getting right up the gearbox also. Veal might have actually got a little bit of damage from the contact there, but I wouldn't imagine so. Nonetheless, he sits in 4th place as of now. Max right behind him. I would imagine that White would come into the pits this lap, put on some ultra softs, and then go to the end of the race, but there is only there's only 2 laps left, so he'll be on this for the rest of the race. I didn't such short amount of time left, so White is on for 3rd place right now. He's got 4 seconds to the next car, Veal. I imagine if he catches up, he's not going to play very fair after what's just happened. That's if he does. He's got Max behind him as well. They're on the same compounded tyre, same laps, 19 laps on the mediums. Although the graphic is showing mediums, but on Veal's car there is softs, so I'm going to stick with the graphic. I do think he's on mediums, but nonetheless, lap 34. Brock has also had a DNF. I'm not sure if that was a retirement or whether he's actually had a spin, but Williams' driver is out. We're down to only 7 drivers now. Last lap now. I'll follow Montana on the last lap anyway. Down the parabolical straight. Climbs up the gears. No DRS for the race leader, obviously. No cars ahead of him, so he's on his own. But with that you get clean air, and you just get to really focus on hitting the curbs. But you can see just pushing the car all the way out to the white lines. Absolutely comfortable doing that. Down to 3rd gear, through turn 6, turn 7, all the way to the apex once again. I mean, you could see this as a qualifying lap. 34 laps into the race, and this guy is still nailing the curbs. You can see there, pretty much a drift car through there. But anyway, last corner. The Williams driver, Montana, comfortable win once again. He takes the flag here in Hockenheim for round 4. Behind him, the Ferrari driver, Buzig, comes home 10 seconds behind the Mercedes driver, does a little weave. He takes 2nd place, 2nd step on the podium here in Germany. Third place, last step on the podium goes to White. Controversial incident between him and Veal. Max also coming in 5th place. But yeah, I'm sure there will be a little bit of discussion as to what happened at the later stages of the race there, but nonetheless, pretty good racing, all in all. But at the end of the day, Montana was untouched in qualifying and in the race. The Williams driver just comes out on top in the end. Quite a weird sight actually, seeing a Williams driver on the top step, but yeah, nonetheless, superb drive from the Swiss there. Busigabussin, I'm not sure where he started, but it definitely wasn't on the front row, so I'm sure he's made a reasonable comeback to get that second step. You can see here final standings. 8th place for Busigabussin on the grid. He climbs up 6 places to get 2nd place. White drops 1 place from 2nd to 3rd. Nonetheless, takes the last step on the podium, gets 15 points in the championship. Veal was challenging for 1st place an hour ago, but finds himself 13 points behind Montana as we head out of round 4. Max drops 1 place also. Risk drops 3 places. And then after that, I believe it's just DNS. But all in all, good race. I hope you guys have enjoyed the stream. I'll see you all in 1 week time for round 5. Yeah, like I said, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week.